special at the London Motor Show. Later on we'll be driving the new Golf and checking out some designs for the 21st century.
But now sit back and enjoy the glamour that makes Earls Court the motoring mecca.
With all the weird and wonderful stuff about, at least there's one car that everyone can relate to, the good old Volkswagen Golf. 17 million sold since the 70s. Tristram tried out the latest incarnation.
If you've got a Golf at the moment, you'll spot that this new model doesn't look that much different from the old one. But that's not to say that the Mark IV isn't a vastly improved machine. Outside, the shape has been tidied up with new lights. The main beam, fog lights and indicators are all together in one unit. The back is less attractive. Now the Golf looks more like its smaller brother, the Polo. There's a touch of Audi about the interior, hardly surprising as the Golf shares many components with the Audi Superhatch A3. Overall, the Golf's appealing, but hardly mold-breaking. But then, the new Golf isn't designed to turn heads. This is primarily a fuss-free runabout with good reliability and build quality. And that's what you feel when you get behind the wheel. It's got a real classy ambience. You just feel at home. It's easy to see where the engineers have spent their time. The handling is better than the old car and body roll has been reduced. There's less road noise and the gear shift has a more deliberate action. Just as the old model was starting to feel very dated, the new Golf is top of the class for refinement. The Golf's Achilles heel has always been its engines. Apart from the fantastic VR6, the old petrol units felt underpowered. So the new Golf comes with 1.4, 1.6 and 1.8 Audi units. They're not scorchers, but they're competent enough. And for the first time, the GTI comes with a turbocharger. The most powerful motor for the moment is a 5-cylinder 2.3. With 150 brake horsepower, it's tuned for relaxed cruising. The 2.8 VR6 returns in a year, this time with four-wheel drive. I'm driving the mid-range 1.6. Now, it's got reasonable performance, but when you put your foot down, it seems to take a while for anything to happen. If it was my money, I'd go for the 110 brake horsepower diesel. It's faster and more economical as well. There are some nice luxury touches, but you have to pay extra for them. The navigation system shares a display with the stereo. You can specify a trip computer in the main console, or windscreen wipers that come on automatically when it rains. The Mark IV's boot is larger than before, but the rear is cramped. Still, it's good value with twin airbags and anti-lock brakes across the range. The indications are the Golf will be a huge hit. It's not cheap. Prices start at £12 and go up to £18,000. Now, compared to the Peugeot 306 or the Fiat Bravo, the Golf seems expensive. But for many private drivers, that solid build and refinement will be worth the extra money.
A traditional Golf rival is the Vauxhall Astra. In the past, it was beaten dynamically by VW. But maybe the new Astra will fare better. It looks well built, and Vauxhall promised better handling and performance. Prices haven't been released, but it's sure to run the Golf close for value, with good space inside and high levels of safety. There'll be a mini MPV version, the Zafira, like the Renault Scenic, with the added bonus of 7, not 5 seats. The most astounding thing about the Astra is the way that it looks. It's arguably more stylish than the Golf, and could easily have come from the Audi stable. But before you decide which family hatchback you're going to go for, add another one to your shopping list, Citroën Zara. Tristram has been testing it.
Once a new Citroën would be cause for excitement, outrageous styling, daring engineering. But that strangeness scared many customers away. And in a move to win buyers back, Citroën are now busy building solid mainstream cars. the Zara is their strongest contender yet in the mid-range sector. It's competing against Britain's biggest selling hatchbacks like the Ford Escort, Volkswagen Golf and Fiat Bravo. There's a supple, sculpted shape, no-nonsense company grille and three-piece bumper which will reduce repair costs if you have a shunt. But this isn't the best-looking mid-ranger. It's a straightforward evolution from the Citroën ZX it replaces. Inside, the Zara's got the longest cabin in its class. There's loads of space and it's packed with practical features like this compartment here and the twin-level glove box. The dash is clearly laid out and the stereo controls mounted on the steering wheel are a plus. It's safe too. There's a driver's airbag as standard, pre-tensioner seatbelts and side impact protection built into the doors. The steering wheel adjusts for rake and reach so I can get a really good driving position. The cabin is quiet and comfortable and the build quality feels better than any Citroën that's gone before. Like most cars in its class, the Zara is a no-thrills driving machine. The 1.8-litre engine it shares with the Peugeot 306 is an adequate performer, though it lacks low-down power and you'll need to use all the revs to get the best from it. There'll also be a 1.4 and 1.6 petrol version. Citroën make great diesels, so cash-conscious families should look out for the two 1.9s in the range. The 5-door model we tested goes on sale this November. Prices will range from £11,700 for the basic 1.4 to £16,200 for a top-spec 1.8. The Zara doesn't have Citroën's traditional design-led appeal, but that won't bother mainstream drivers who are just looking for a well-thought-out, reliable car that's safe and frugal. It's not really as good as the new Golf, but at the price, it's certainly going to find sales in suburbia.
Motor shows are the only place that you'll find concept cars as manufacturers show off design power and test out ideas that could make it into production. Here are some of the more interesting ones at this year's show. Drive today, but looking at it you'd never guess how fast it is. The dull-looking Nissan Skyline GTR would worry a Ferrari. Under the bonnet is an upgradable 280 horsepower and the Skyline will race from 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. It's been on sale in its current form in Japan for 2 years, but from '98 it comes to the UK. Only 100 will be made at £50,000 each. But if that's a bit too rich for your blood, then rally driver Penny Mallory took to the track in another Japanese rocket that costs half as much, but will still blow the cobwebs away.
Honda cars are reliable and well made, but they hardly quicken the pulse. Until now, with the Honda Integra R. R stands for racing, and it's been built to raise Honda's sporty profile. It's absolutely fantastic. To appreciate this sports coupe, you have to turn a blind eye to its bland looks and liberate its 190 brake horsepower. The Integra R has one of the world's most powerful 1.8 engines, so to make the most of it, Honda have developed VTEC, which is a valve control system. So on the way to the supermarket, this car remains fairly docile. But put your foot down and keep it down over 6,000 revs, and the Integra turns into a full-on sports car, a real Jekyll and Hyde. The ride is firm, but for a generation that's grown up on hot hatches, that's no big deal. What will surprise is that Honda have managed to build all their traditional user-friendliness into a street racer. It's stripped down but approachable. The steering is direct, the brakes reassuring, and there's just enough grip. I do quite like these red Recaro bucket seats with a bit of suede trim. They're quite nice. There's also a leather steering wheel which I like, and I think this gear stick is fabulous. But I'm afraid to say the dashboard is imitation carbon fibre. Unfortunately, the Type R only comes in white. Twin headlights go against the current trend for one-piece units, but they look smart. And the wing on the back gives the Integra's boring coupe lines that bit more attitude. If you're after a fast coupe, then this £19,500 Integra should definitely be on your list. But decide quickly. Reliability and performance are a rare and desirable combination in a car, and with Honda only importing a limited number of Integra Rs, they're going to sell fast.
If you want to check out the show yourself, it's open to the public from today until the 26th of October. It costs £10 for adults and £5 for children and OAPs.
That's it from the Motor Show and indeed this series of the Car Show. We've enjoyed bringing you the best in motoring over the last few months, and we'll be back next year with more new and used tests, features and motoring people. Thanks for watching.
Good night.